Hey man, welcome back to Beer Geeks Beer Reviews. Man, this is the first video I've done in a while, and I'm doing this one for a group of friends that I was not able to join this evening. They had reviewed a beer, and I say this lightly in my own terms, a beer. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to finish this one because of the fact that I myself have generally dug myself into a corner. And by that I mean I'm generally only known for drinking, craft beer. But one of my friends, uh, I won't mention names here, uh, he does a weekly or monthly, should I say, review with non-craft beers. And I was like, you know what? I'll partake. As a beer reviewer, I should get out there and start reviewing or, taking into consideration all beer. And this evening they had the chance to review the big oil can itself, Foster's. Now, I told them respectively, I would do a video and they could comment on it. But to my southern friend and to one of my, western neighbors, here we go, man. I cracked it open and I'm going to pour it into a mug because of the fact that I think that is one of the only containers that it should be put in. And I have already given it such a humongous head that I'm going to have to wait a few minutes or kind of try to wait this out. Even if, look at that, it's crystal clear. I mean, there's carbonation everywhere. And it's like, I don't want to say it's overly carbonated, but there's this like carbonation everywhere. And that is like a 4-finger worth of head that I've got in there already. And maybe a 5-finger worth of beer. Come on now. I do not know. Look at that. It's already over the top. Alright, here we go. I don't know the backgrounds for, Foster's like he does. I don't know. This comes in at 25.4 full fluid ounces. It's a 750 milliliter can. 1 pint, 9.4 full ounces. It's considered to be a lager beer. Produced or brewed and packaged under the supervision of Foster's Australia, Melbourne, Australia by Oil Can Breweries, Fort Worth, Texas. Granted, it does have the government warning on there. It says product of the United States. Nifty little Facebook page there. If people like the Foster brand, you can visit their Facebook page. I'm looking somewhere along the lines of an ABV. I do like to look for all information on the product because I generally do not look up reviews, ratings, etc., etc. I don't like to do that. I like to take this in all myself, and I've had a Foster's before, and I had to give it off to my buddy Justin because of the fact that I could not stand it. But now it's been over a year, and I'm like, you know what? That's the reason why I wanted to do a review of it, because of the fact that it's one of those beers that I haven't had in quite such a long time, and I wanted to get back in it and see how how my palate has, advanced compared to this said beer. So without further ado, let's go ahead and catch a look and the aroma, because look, there's not much there. I mean, you can see my lips talking, and moving. Look at this, look at this, look at this. You can see my fingers through this. I want to say it's almost like a crystal clear, very, very, very light. Um, I don't want to say this to offend anybody that likes this beer, but it is a very light urine color. That's the only thing I come up with. I mean, it's a light, very light, almost to me like Pilsner color. I mean, it's crystal clear. You can see the foam above it. Look at that. You can see the under bubbles of the head. And as such, another reviewer, a friend of mine, you're looking up the skirt of said beer. Look at that. You can see me crystal clear through this beer. I mean, the only difference is that I'm tinted yellow. Other than that, look, you can see, look, you can read the letters on my hat. Other than that, look, carbonation. No matter where I'm going, there's carbonation. Other than that, the head's dying down very quickly. It is a very bright, almost brilliant white color. If I had more lighting, I'd say okay. If I'm looking up through the beer at the white wall, I would say that it is a very light yellowish color. Most people would say, hey, dude, seriously, don't go too descriptive. It looks like a god-forsaken beer. Beer. Okay. In Australia, Foster's for beer. No, I'm not doing a commercial. Anyway. And as for aroma, I'm just going to say this right off the bat, very sweet and very malty. Big biscuity note. Big biscuity. Very sweet. I don't know for a sheer fact, but it almost smells kind of like that they use a residual corn sugars. And I know it smells like corn as the adjunct. But I'm not totally sure, man. Like I said, I don't know about this beer, so I'm trying to not sound, redundant about certain things. Alright, I mean, it's not bad. I'll give it that much. It's not bad. As it goes across the palate, it does give it a little bit of a slickness. Now, I will tell you this much. It does have a dating on the bottom of the can, and it states that it is October 2014, and it does also give a production code right underneath there. So I don't want to sit there and say slickness as in off flavors or anything bad like that. I mean, this is the way that I believe that the beer was intended to be. I don't want to say that I've gotten a bad beer, but it gives kind of like a slickness, like okay, if somebody uses too much sugar in their coffee, that kind of like kind of slick, how the coffee becomes almost syrupy. That's the word that I was looking for. Kind of like syrupy. A feel to it. It's kind of sugary sweet as well. But you can taste that adjunct. It's kind of, I don't want to say this as a bad thing, but it's kind of corny. There is a corny sweetness to it. But you can also, as it goes across your palate and as you swallow, I mean, there is that residual, like cereal grain note to it. It almost tastes like, if you've got kids, you know what I'm about to say. Man, if you get those, like, the little cereal pieces, not the marshmallows, but the cereal pieces out of your, kids', what do you want to call it? Like, Lucky Charms. the cereal pieces, toss out the marshmallows because those are just like hell for your children. I mean, they eat too many of the marshmallows, they go, and it's all over with. But other than that, the cereal pieces, man, they're kind of sugar coated themselves, but at the same time, if you just eat a bunch of those and you taste that sweetness and you get the cereal grain note, that's what's in here. I don't really know what kind of ABV is with this beer. It does not say. That kind of makes me irritated. I mean, they give you all this information on how you can play, tinny hockey or tiny hockey with all these cans, because of the fact that you can line up these cans and play hockey with them, but they don't give you a damn ABV on the beer? Come on. I mean, how to speak Australian, game on, collect all cans. I mean, they give you the standard examples, and I know it's too glary for my camera to kind of focus in on that, but it tells you, take the tab off and line up 4 cans to play like this, like, hockey game. No. And right there, that's my standard. Yeah, I just had to point that out. I'm sorry. But anywho, other than that, man, that's the only thing that I'm really irritated about with this can. I mean, it's this big freaking can, and you can't even put an ABV on it. Come on. If I had to take a guess at it, man, this is only like a 4% or a 3.5% beer. There's no way that it can be a 5 or a 6% beer. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, but at the same time, I mean, this is a lawnmower beer. I've already ran almost 13 minutes talking about this beer, and it's a lawnmower beer. Yeah, you've seen that. Excuse me. Look at that. If at anything, the only way that you're going to be able to tell that this beer has been made with any type of hops at all is if you're going to chug it, just like I did there. And the only reason I say that is because of the fact that it tastes very grassy after I did that. Very, very grassy. Other than that, I'm still tasting the residual, like, corniness and the cereal grain notes. I still got a little bit left in here, and I'm going to pour it straight into the center, create me a big head again. And I'm going to finish this big bad boy. Can's empty. You heard that. Here's the beer. I'm going to finish this. I told my friends that I would do this, and as a sign off, laissez le bon temps, roulette, and remember, drink great, amazing craft beers, and I say that boldly for this review. Peace, pros, deuce. I'm not going to give it a rating. I don't want to offend nobody, so here it is. This is a drinkable beer. Peace.